Have you ever wondered, why are some people over 50 years old still radiant as if they were only 30? While others are only 30 but look like they've been tired all their lives? The answer is not age. It is in how one lives each day. Youth is not a time of year. It is a state of mind. We live in a world where everyone counts their age by birth year, by wrinkles, by cold numbers on paper. But there is one thing that cannot be recorded on any birth certificate, and that is the life force inside you. I have met people 20 years older than me, but they talk with such enthusiasm as if they had just discovered the wonders of the world yesterday. They look at everything with bright, curious eyes. They still learn, still dream, still laugh out loud, and I wonder, why are they still so young? While everyone else just sighs every morning when they wake up. And then I realized, people grow old not because of time, but because their minds are too heavy. Too many worries, too many disappointments, too many comparisons and endless desires make them lose the joy of living every day. Some people wake up every morning with a series of complaints. Another day, nothing has changed. Looking back at myself makes me depressed. These are the words, repeated over and over again, that are causing them to lose their youth, even though they are still physically strong. On the other hand, there are people who choose to start their day with a different mindset. They don't deny the hardships, but they choose to live with gratitude, with hope, with kindness, even when no one else around them does. You know, what makes you attractive is not your skin, nor your expensive clothes. It's the energy you carry. It's the way you walk into a room, with your smiling eyes, your warm voice, your pleasant presence. I once saw a woman in her 50s walk onto the stage. She didn't wear heavy makeup or flashy clothes. But when she spoke, the room fell silent, not because of her age, but because of her inner strength. She spoke with a heart full of experience, but still warm like a young person who hadn't been hurt. Her skin was no longer smooth, but her eyes, they really knew how to smile. That made me understand. Staying young is not about anti-aging creams. Staying young starts with cultivating positive thoughts every day. From choosing forgiveness instead of bitterness, choosing hope instead of doubt, choosing to move forward instead of sitting back and complaining. Do you know how many years younger a happy person looks than a worried person? According to many psychological studies, stress and negativity age your face faster than any other factor. But happiness, gratitude, and optimism are the best natural collagen for your appearance. So, if you're looking for the secret to staying young forever, start with your mind. Every morning, ask yourself, what am I thinking? Am I sowing peace in my mind? Or is it insecurity? Am I living as if there is still something to look forward to in life? Because when you nourish your inner self with beautiful thoughts, you not only stay young, but also become more attractive, profound and valuable than ever. Remember, you can't stop time, but you can choose how you walk through it, with bright eyes, a light soul, and a heart that knows how to smile at the world. There is a truth that not everyone realizes. Staying young doesn't come from what you wear or what you do, but from what you believe every day. Have you noticed? People who always carry positive energy, no matter how old they are, still look fresh? It's not because they're blessed with good genes. It's because they choose to believe in things that nourish their souls every day. And the first thing they believe is, I'm still growing, even if just a little. Truly young is not the one without wrinkles. It is the one who keeps learning. Keep trying again. Keep moving forward, even after failure. I once met an old man in his late 70s who learned to play the guitar just to play for his wife in the late afternoon. He said, I have never touched music in my life. But I still want to learn, because I am alive. That statement made me shudder. Not because of his age, but because of the way he chose to live. In fact, you only truly grow old when you stop believing you can do anything new. When you stop trying. When you stop trying. When you stop taking that extra step. That's when your soul begins to close. Ask yourself, am I growing today? Am I learning anything new? Or am I repeating the same old cycle, just because I'm afraid of change? Blank. Underscore. Blank. The second belief, which is no less important, is, everything that happens is helping me to improve. It sounds idealistic, but when you actually live this belief, you will be different. Because we all will face challenges. We will be hurt. We will be disappointed. But only those who believe all of this is part of the journey of growing up will not let their souls become bitter. I remember a close friend who lost her job during the pandemic. Everyone saw her fall apart. But after a few months, she started learning new skills, tried writing, and after a year, she became a freelance writer and made double her previous income. No one believed it, but she did. It was life's way of forcing me to move on to a new chapter. You know what? When you see challenges as opportunities to improve, you are no longer a victim of life. You are the one who writes your own story. And you stay young at heart, because you are constantly growing. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And finally, something simple yet incredibly powerful. I am grateful that I am still alive today. You may not have thought about it, but gratitude is what makes your day brighter. Gratitude is not just saying, thank you. It is really a feeling in your heart that, today, you are breathing. You are hearing birds singing. You are touching warm water. You have someone asking, are you okay? That is a gift. You don't need a perfect life to be grateful. You just need a more discerning eye to see the good in the little things. There are people who walk past you with a frown on their face. A sad look on their face, not because something big has happened to them, but simply because they forget that every day is still an opportunity to start over. To live fully. To love something more. Blank. Underscore. Blank. So, if you want to stay young at heart, start with these 3 things. Believe that you are still growing. Believe that everything that happens helps you to become better. And be grateful that you are still here. Today, age may change your body, but it's what you believe that determines how long your mind stays young. Here is a truth that few people tell you. When your mind is at peace, your face naturally brightens. We all want to look young and radiant. But you know, skin creams only help a little bit. The more important part lies here, in what you think, what you repeat, what you feed your mind every day. And today, I want to share with you 3 simple thoughts, but if you carry them with you every day, you will not only find yourself feeling lighter, but you will also find yourself feeling more beautiful. Inside and out. Blank. Underscore. Blank. First thoughts. I let go of the things I cannot control. Remember the last time you were angry all day about something that happened in the past, or worried to the point of losing sleep over something that hasn't happened yet. We've all been there, holding on to something that has already happened, chasing something that has not yet happened, and forgetting that. You are dragging your mind into a never-ending battle. I spent almost a year struggling with a past event. I replayed everything in my head hundreds of times. I thought if I thought about it enough, things would change. But no, I just got tireder, heavier, deeper. Then one day, I let go, not because I wanted to give up, but because I wanted my soul to rest. And something magical happened. My face softened. The frown disappeared. I began to see the light from within myself. We are not taught how to let go. But if you learn one thing today, learn to say, I put this down, to move on more gently. And then, you'll feel younger. Simply because you don't have to struggle anymore. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Second thought. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be honest. Are you ever tired of pretending to be okay? Must be better. Must be more beautiful. Must be stronger. Just to please others? They say, confidence is ageless beauty. But I believe, living authentically is eternally attractive. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You just have to be honest with yourself, with your feelings, with your journey. I tried to play the strong person for a long time, until I realized true strength is not about not letting anyone see your weakness. It is about daring to say, today I am not okay, but I still choose to continue. And when you live authentically, you are not only lighter, you are also more beautiful. Beauty is in the look that doesn't need defense. Beauty is in the smile that doesn't force it. Beauty is in the serenity that others can feel even when you haven't said anything. Remember, you don't have to be someone else's perfect version. You just have to be the most authentic version of yourself, and that's a timeless charm. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Third thought. I choose peace over right and wrong. Have you ever argued just to win? And then afterwards, you don't feel happy, just tired? We live in a society where everyone likes to be right. Everyone likes to prove something. But after every argument, do you really feel younger and happier? On the contrary, the person who chooses peace is the one who knows when to be silent and when to let himself go. I used to have a friend who, every time we had a disagreement, was the one who would say, well, I don't have to be right. I need to keep this relationship going. At first I didn't understand, but the more I learned, the more I saw her gentle life, bright face, pleasant voice, all came from her choosing peace over winning or losing. Every time you choose forgiveness over anger, you grow a little younger. Every time you choose silence at the right time, you shine a little brighter. And every time you choose peace, even when others are not what you expected, you heal yourself. Blank. Underscore. Blank. So, dear friend, if you are looking for ways to stay young, to shine, don't just look for it in the mirror, in cosmetics, in the gym. Start from within. With these 3 thoughts, let go of what you can't control. Live honestly, not perfectly, and choose peace over right and wrong. Because peace of mind will be the brightest light on your face. No matter how old you are, We often hear a lot of advice about keeping our bodies healthy. Drink enough water. Eat clean. Exercise. Get enough sleep. But have you ever wondered, so what about the inside? Have we really spent enough time nurturing the most important part? The part that no one sees with their eyes, but decides everything. From your demeanor, your eyes, to your appearance? In the journey to stay young and peaceful, there is one thing that never changes. When you are healthy on the inside, you will naturally radiate on the outside. And today, I want to share with you 3 very simple yet extremely effective ways to nourish your inner self and slow down aging. From the inside out, blank, underscore, blank. First things first, and most importantly, take time every day for things that nourish your soul. Sounds easy, but how long has it been since you really slowed down? Not lying around watching TV. Doing things that really make you feel rejuvenated, like reading a good book. Listening to music that calms your heart. Meditating for a few minutes in silence. Taking a slow walk in nature. Or simply making a cup of tea and watching the clouds go by the window. I remember a middle-aged woman sharing that, every night before bed, I light a candle, sit down, and write down 3 things I'm grateful for today. Some days it's just making a great cup of coffee. But those little things make me feel alive. And you know, that woman, even though she is almost 60, her face radiates an unusual freshness. Not because of cosmetic surgery, but because inside she is bright. Just like plants need sunlight and water, your mind needs the same emotional vitamins. And when you take care of the inside, your outside appearance will be the result. Monday. Don't compare. Focus on your own journey. I know, this is hard. In the age of social media, every time you open your phone, you see people who are better, more beautiful, more successful, and then you feel not enough. But you know what? Comparison is the invisible poison of the mind. It makes you tired, even when you are not actually running. It makes you feel like you are always lacking, even when you have a lot. A young person is one who does not need to compete to feel valuable. You don't have to be as good as someone else. You just have to be better than you were yesterday. Every time you focus on your own journey, you'll start to realize you're making progress. Maybe it's a small step, but it's your step, and that makes you confident, makes you smile, and makes you young. Blank, underscore, blank. And finally, this is extremely important but many people forget. Forgive yourself. No one lives without making mistakes. But are you punishing yourself for the past? Are you holding on to regrets or guilt for things you couldn't have done differently? Young people are those who know that they are still learning. And learning means being allowed to make mistakes. Being allowed to try. Being allowed to be imperfect. Old people are people who live in the past, tying themselves up to things they can't fix. And that drains their vitality. I went through a phase where every time I looked in the mirror, I felt old, not because of my wrinkled skin, but because of my depressed mind. I didn't forgive myself for all the what-ifs. And then, that thought made me age, little by little. Everything changed when I dared to say to myself, I did the best I could under the circumstances. And today, I choose to continue. From that moment on, I lived lighter. And believe it or not, my face was brighter too. simply because I was no longer burdened. Blank. Underscore. Blank. So dear friend, if you are looking for ways to slow down the wheel of time, start by nurturing the part no one sees, your inner self. Make time for what makes you feel truly alive. Stop comparing, and go your own way. Forgive yourself. To lighten your heart, brighten your eyes, and make your smile real. For a peaceful soul, knowing how to nurture itself will be the medicine of eternal youth without prescription. Have you ever met someone who just walked into the room, didn't say anything yet, but you already felt like smiling at them? Not because they dress well, not because they are young, but because there is something very pleasant, very warm about them, like the gentle morning sunlight. It is not a painted appearance. It is an attitude that is imprinted on their appearance. Dear friend, your appearance is not just the result of genes, cosmetics, or lifestyle. It is a mirror of the soul. And what shapes the soul every day is the attitude towards life. And in this video, I want to share with you 3 choices, 3 very simple choices. But if you make the right choices every day, you will stay younger than you think. Not just young in the face, but young in energy, in charisma, in the way other people feel when standing next to you. Blank. Underscore. Blank. First choice. I choose to see the good in others. There is one thing I learned very early in life. You can't control what other people think or do, but you can absolutely choose what you see in them. When you go into a conversation and focus on the other person's good points, you'll find yourself becoming softer, more approachable, and strangely enough, more attractive. I once sat next to an elderly woman on a long interstate train. She wore no makeup and her hair was gray. But she smiled the entire trip, asking each person how they were doing. Anyone who came near her felt as if they were being embraced by a warm energy. I later understood. She had chosen to live with compassionate eyes, and that was what made her beautiful. Because you know what? Beauty is not in perfection, it is in the non-judgmental look. Someone who can make you feel accepted is always nicer than someone who is judgmental. And if you live like that every day, you will not only make others feel comfortable, but you will also find yourself more peaceful, more relaxed, and that relaxation will be imprinted in your eyes, your smile, and your demeanor. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Second option. I know when to rest. In fact, young people are not always full of energy. Young people know when to stop and recharge. Know not to push yourself to exhaustion. Know how to listen to your body. Know how to be quiet to restore your spirit. We live in a society that values productivity. Do more. Do it faster. Do it continuously. And that makes a lot of people tired without knowing why. I went through a phase like that, working until 2 to 3 a.m. every day. My skin started to look gray. My eyes were sunken. I always looked like I had just cried. I thought it was because I was sleep deprived. But no, I was really sleep deprived. Rest is not just lying down. It is stopping completely, reconnecting with yourself, with nature, with what makes you feel like you. He who knows when to rest will never be exhausted. And their spirit, there is always a revival. Have you noticed that people who come out of a short but well-planned vacation look younger? They don't just relax, they allow themselves to live, instead of just existing. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And finally, the most powerful option. I don't have to prove anything. People who live to be recognized will always be tired. Because you never know if you are good enough in someone's eyes. You try to get likes, to get approval, to get admiration. But in the end, you still feel empty. I used to fall into that cycle, trying to make people think I was successful, think I was strong, think I was worthy. But that just made me wear a mask, which I found suffocating. Only when I stopped and asked myself, what do I live for? Am I happy with my own actions? I truly feel free. And the strange thing is, when you live without having to prove anything, you become very attractive. Truly confident people don't need to talk too much about themselves. They do things because they want to. They live because they feel right. And they shine because they don't have to put on a front anymore. Blank. Underscore. Blank. So, if you want to stay young, don't just look for skincare or exercise. Start with your daily attitude. See the good in others. Know when to stop and rest. And live without proof. You don't have to try to be beautiful. Just live lightly. You are more beautiful than half the world. Have you ever wondered, what determines whether your day will be bright or tiring? It's not the weather. It's not your job or how other people treat you. It's the first thing you think when you open your eyes. Your mind is like soil. What you sow in the morning will sprout throughout the day. If you sow haste, worry, judgment, you will live all day in tension. But if you start with a few gentle, loving, and aware words, you will find yourself feeling younger, gentler, and most importantly, more present. And today, I want to share with you 8 simple phrases, but if you whisper them to yourself every morning, you will feel like you are rejuvenated from the inside. Blank. Underscore. Blank. First quote. Also a great way to start every day. Today I woke up with a renewed spirit. It's not that I'm getting older today. It's not another day like yesterday. But it's a whole new opportunity to do better, lighter, deeper. You don't have to change the world, but you can choose to refresh your mind, like a glass of water after a rain. And you know, a person with a fresh mind always radiates a radiance that no cosmetics can replace. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Next. I don't keep things in my heart that I can't change. Too many people started their day by replaying yesterday. Words that hurt, mistakes that can't be taken back, things that could have been different. But you know, carrying things that cannot be changed today only makes you lose the opportunity to live fully. Letting go is not a weakness. Letting go is intelligence. It's you choosing to free your mind, to make room for something fresher. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And this is a reminder that I often write down on a piece of paper and stick next to my bed. I choose to live lightly, no matter how heavy the world is. Because the world isn't always kind, but you can always choose how you walk through it. You can be the wind, or the rock, the one who lightens the air, or the one who weighs down everything around you. I have met people who carry too many worries. But when they choose to let go a little, they not only become younger, but also make others feel more peaceful just by their presence. Blank. Underscore. Blank. The fourth sentence is very important for those who are self-conscious about their bodies. I am grateful for this body, even though it is not perfect. It is still the only home I have. Have you ever looked in the mirror and seen only things you don't like? A wrinkle, a scar, an extra part, something that isn't quite right. We forget that this body has taken us through so many seasons, so many falls, so many sweats and tears, and it is still here for us to live on. Being grateful for your body is the quickest way to look at yourself with gentle eyes. And gentle eyes are what keep you younger than any cream. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Fifth saying. I am most beautiful when I live truly, laugh truly, and love life truly. Beauty doesn't come from pretending. It comes from being honest. When you stop trying to show off, you start to shine. People remember you not because you are perfect, but because you are sincere. A person who knows how to smile for real is always more beautiful than a person who tries to smile to hide it. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Next is an extremely important reminder. I don't let fear stop me from living. How many things have you not dared to do, just because of fear? Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. But you know what? Fear never goes away. It just. Can you live while still being afraid? People who dare to live, dare to try, dare to fail, are people who always keep their youth inside. Because every act of courage is an affirmation to life that I am still living fully. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And here's a habit that will keep your mind from drying out. I always find small joys every day. No need to be grand. Just the smell of coffee, an old song you love, an unexpected text message, a moment of silence. When you see beauty in small things, you keep your heart soft. And a soft heart will always keep you young. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Finally, a statement just for you. I am not young because I have youth. I am young because I have faith. Youth is not age. It's about what you dare to believe in. Believe in people. Believe in yourself. Believe that something good is waiting for you today. A person of faith, whether 50 or 60 years old, radiates a vitality that makes everyone want to be around them. And you can absolutely become that person. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Dear friend, every morning when you wake up, you can choose to let your mind drift away with news, worries, or noise, or you can choose to plant gentle reminders like these in your heart, like seeds that nurture daily renewal. And you will see, true youth does not come from old photos, but from the way you talk to yourself. Age is the only thing in the world that no one can stop. No matter who you are, where you live, how much money or knowledge you have, every day, you will get a little older. But the strange thing is, not everyone ages the same way. There are people who are 30 years old and look like they have been tired all their lives. But there are also people who are 60 and still walk with full energy. Bright eyes and a lovely smile. What makes the difference isn't the type of skin cream, or the amount of sleep, but how they live, every day. You can spend hundreds of dollars on skincare. You can eat clean, sleep right, and exercise regularly. But if your mind is constantly running through negative thoughts, stress, criticism, all your efforts on the outside will be like patching a leak in a pot that is cracked on the inside. On the contrary, if you choose to live with an open heart, a clear mind and a loving soul, even as time passes, you will always shine in your own unique way. a light that does not come from makeup, but from within. Dear friend, we cannot stop aging, but we absolutely can choose how we think each day, what we say to ourselves, and what energy we bring to others. Because true beauty is not in your features, but in the energy you carry. Have you ever met someone who isn't exactly beautiful by social standards, but when they talk, you feel warm inside, comfortable being around them? It's inner beauty that's taken care of better than any serum. And that care starts with a choice every day. What do you choose to think about when you wake up? How do you choose to face life? Do you choose to live with gratitude, or just fear? Do you choose to open your heart to receive, or close yourself in doubt and judgment? Each of those small choices, added up, is true youth. A soul not distorted by bitterness. A gaze not clouded by fatigue. A smile not drained by undeservedness. And I say this not as someone who knows all the secrets. I too have lived in doubt, forgotten to take care of my own mind, and then realized all external beauty is only temporary if there is no inner peace. If you are listening to this and wondering, so where should I start? I would say, start with the smallest choice. Choose one more positive thought than yesterday. Choose to forgive yourself. Choose to stop for a moment to breathe. Choose to say to yourself, I am alive, and I am grateful for that. When your soul still knows joy, still knows gratitude, still knows how to love this life, no matter how old you are. You are still the youngest person in the crowd, not because of your biological age, but because your heart is still beating with love, steady and deep. Blank. Underscore. Blank. And if you find what I just shared is what you need, then I hope you don't just listen and leave it at that. Try living with one small change from tomorrow. No one gets younger overnight, but you will start to see yourself lighten up little by little. And at some point, people will look at you and say, I don't know why, but there's something so young, so light, so lovable about you, and that is the clearest sign that you are living right.